12:30. I want to welcome everyone to another amazing Ollie Short. Ollie Short. We're going to learn about the history, a brief history of Girl Scout cookies. And welcome, Jen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. My name is Jennifer Hazing. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today and share a little bit about what I know about the history of Girl Scout cookies and um, welcome questions and conversation if that's something your members like to do. Um, as I mentioned, Jennifer Hazing is my name. I'm the Chief Development Officer for Girl Scouts Dakota Horizons. I'll tell you a little bit about Girl Scouts, I'll tell you a little bit about our council, and then we'll dive right into the history. Girl Scouting is all about building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. I was just mentioning that there are 111 councils throughout the United States and Girl Scouts all around the world too. But here in the US, you find this mission statement at all of our councils. We're all dedicated to building girls who are ready to meet the moment. I know Stacy mentioned she was a Girl Scout. Are there any other Girl Scout alums with us today? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I think I heard a yes. That's exciting. Great. Well, the Girl Scout mission has been really similar since founding in 1912. Girl Scouts was founded in Savannah, Georgia by Juliette Gordon Low. Juliette Gordon Low was recently named. There are going to be significant women honored on U.S. Quarters, the coin, coming up in the next couple of years. And Juliette Gordon Low was one of the women who will be honored and recognized on a quarter. Here at Girl Scouts Dakota Horizons, I thought I would just share with you where we are. I'm here in Sioux Falls. Our territory includes South Dakota, North Dakota, contiguous counties from North Dakota to the Minnesota border in um, in Minnesota, and one other county close here to Sioux Falls, plus Lyon County, Iowa. So we serve across portions of two states in all of their entirety, two states, little snippets of them. When you put all that together, it's 164,000 square miles, and we're supporting members in 955 zip codes. So I think of that as 955 communities throughout that territory. If you were curious, in our last membership year, we had about 7,500 girls who were members, grades K through 12, and about 1,250 of them were here in the Sioux Falls area. Girl Scouts is all about discovering, connecting, and taking action. And believe it or not, cookies are a part of that. I found this little clip and wanted to share it with you. And this is the moment where I hope I did that little checkbox right so you can hear the sound. Let me know if you can't.
The cookies are here.
Madame.
Oh, the cookies aren't here.
Para que están aquí.
The cookies are here.
The cookies are here.
We know that ad is post 1978, and the way I think it's our best educated guess. The way we know it is Saul Bass, the illustrator, designed that logo in the 70s, and so that is one way we can judge the time on that. I thought it was a good way to pivot into just a little bit about Girl Scout cookie history, which I've laid out through the decades. I mentioned already that Juliette Gordon Low, the founder of Girl Scouts, founded the Girl Scout movement in 1912 in Savannah, Georgia. She was just of the belief that girls needed opportunities to explore and make a difference in their lives and communities, and Girl Scouts was her way to do it. In 1917, there's the first record of Girl Scout cookie sales. The Mistletoe Troop in Muskogee, Oklahoma, gets the credit for being the first Girl Scout troop to sell cookies. In those days, those girls in that troop baked cookies at home and sold them in their high school cafeteria as a fundraiser, and Girl Scout cookies were born. The first time recipes and business plans were shared was in 1922. Looking to the 30s, you see a little bit of packaging there. Things started to take off in the 1930s when the Girl Scout Council in Greater Philadelphia started selling cookies at City Gas and Electric Company windows. And a year later, then, in Philadelphia, the council began to work with a commercial baker. They were seeing success, and to meet the demand for their cookies, they worked with a commercial baker. And as early as the 30s, there was packaging on Girl Scout cookie boxes. As early as 1935. In 1937, cookie sales went coast to coast in the United States. And I thought this was kind of interesting. In 1932, cookies were about 35 cents a dozen. I did the inflation calculator on that number. I was curious to know how that would stack up to today's cookie prices, and they're right in line with what you told me you paid, Jim. Adjusted for inflation, it comes to $6.43 in 2024 dollars. So the fundraising opportunities for Girl Scouts with a 35-cent package of cookies is fairly comparable to what we see now in 2024. In the 1940s, there were girls still selling cookies in the early 40s, but as World War II continued on, calendars became the stand-in when there were wartime shortages, and you saw Girl Scouts involved in lots of things and war efforts. So their troops needed funding just as they did with cookie sales. It was just calendars was the way to do it. Then after World War II, the sales of cookies picked back up again, and by 1948, there were 29 licensed bakers across the United States baking cookies for Girl Scout cookie sales. Girl Scouts likes to share that Girl Scouts cookies were an opportunity for racial segregation. There were troops all across the country, some integrated troops and other troops that were not integrated, but participating in the same programs in their communities. So that's a point that Girl Scouts is always eager to make. A couple other notable things in the 50s. Jim, I don't know if you had Thin Mints in your collection of cookies, but the Thin Mint was introduced in 1951 and called Chocolate Mint. And the shortbread cookie was introduced in 1956, and the recipe is pretty similar to the trefoil shortbread cookie that you could buy from Girl Scouts today. In the 60s, things just really expanded. There were a lot more Girl Scouts in the 60s, thanks to that post-war baby boom, and sort of a notable technological advancement then, that boxes were wrapped in aluminum foil or cellophane just to protect those cookies and preserve their freshness. In the 1970s, we saw a streamlining of bakers down to 4. And if you look at your Girl Scout packaging today, you notice that the box features designs that show what Girl Scouts are doing. So there's a box that I think my favorite is kids in a sort of a music setting or canoeing. You see all kinds of action on the cookie boxes, and that began in the 70s. I mentioned that Saul Bass logo. Saul Bass is certainly worth a Google. He had a number of other really notable graphic design logos that were just sort of in the American lexicon. So Girl Scouts used for many years that silhouette Saul Bass logo, and it started to appear on cookie boxes 1979. One other recipe that you find today still that was started in the 70s, it's the Do-si-do cookie. It's a peanut butter sandwich cookie. So if you buy from the other councils that use the other baker, it might be called peanut butter sandwich. But I think it's interesting that there are a few cookies that the recipes have remained the same for 50 or more years. In the 1980s, we saw 4 bakers in the lineup and a maximum of 7 cookies that were each of those bakers was producing. I use this photo because we have very recently sold the t-shirt that says Girl Scouts that you see on the front of the girls who are not in uniform as a throwback. So just evidence that everything old is new again when those are the designs we like to see. In the 1990s, there were 8 cookie varieties available. Offerings included low-fat and sugar-free varieties. And Girl Scouts USA, our national body, introduced age-appropriate rewards for cookies. Those awards really keep girls motivated for the sale. You might notice if you're in the Dakota Horizons Council footprint, there's always an animal mascot for our product program sales, and this year's is an axolotl. It's a little sea creature. If you were to Google it, I'm not sure you would say it's cute. It's certainly distinctive looking, but we've made that as a plush toy, and it finds its way onto lots of other rewards that girls can earn for selling. So those rewards go back about 30 years. In the 2000s, Girl Scouts launched what we call, in our footprint, Heroes on the Horizon. GSUSA called it Gift of Caring. So if you may be not interested in purchasing cookies for yourself, but you would like to support girls in their product program sales, our council works to send those cookies to troops all around the world. In the 2000s, all cookies were produced kosher. Daisies, the youngest Girl Scouts, as young as kindergarten, started selling cookies. The cookies are produced by 2 bakers, and 8 varieties were available. As you can imagine, in the 2010s, things started to go digital. So this was the first time in 2014 we saw cookie sales online. Nowadays, you see girls standing right at the booth with their phone using the digital cookie app to process orders. And National Girl Scout Cookie Day was introduced in 2013 as well. This past weekend was National Girl Scout Cookie Weekend. So just an exciting time where lots of girls across the country are selling. I took this picture just a couple of weeks ago at a program we have called Cookie University. It's a partnership with Augustana University, and all Girl Scouts in the Sioux Falls area are invited to come and take part in some planning and classes and learning about their goals for cookie season, how to sell cookies, what to say, and even how to deal with maybe disagreeable customers. So these are just a couple of the Daisy Scouts that I had a conversation with that day. They were excited about selling. Each troop that sells cookies sees funding come back to their troop, and individual Girl Scouts too see an individual benefit from their participation in the sale. And these girls were excited about maybe getting to do some camping, something that they had not done before. So all of the cookies that are sold produce opportunities for girls. Others are really, and our council, very excited about some upcoming travel opportunities. I bought cookies last week from 2 girls who have signed up for a Girl Scout trip to Australia in 2026. And you can imagine that's going to take a few packages sold to help cover the expenses of that trip. If you are interested in finding some cookies, I thought I would share with you an easy way to do it is to text cookies to 59618. And using the location services on your phone, you can find a cookie booth near you. Girl Scouts in our council are selling now through March 25th. And of course, we encourage everybody to support those entrepreneurs early for the best selection. And I would just sort of conclude before some impact numbers and questions. The purpose of the Girl Scout cookie sale has remained the same. We're really looking to power Girl Scout experiences and to create opportunities for girls to learn. It builds a foundation of leadership for a lifetime, and we know that these girls go on to make an incredible difference in their communities, in our country, and in the world. If you're curious about what some of those impacts might be, the Girl Scout Research Institute does a good amount of study, and I thought these were some sort of interesting life skills items. The green highlights indicate what numbers might apply to Girl Scouts, where the gray highlights highlight non-Girl Scouts. So Girl Scouts are more likely to seek challenges and learn from setbacks, to exhibit community problem-solving skills, to form and maintain healthy relationships, develop a strong sense of self, and to display positive attitudes, something we all need in the challenges of these times. So if you're a Girl Scout supporter, you can support all of those impact outcomes and get some delicious cookies when you buy a box. So Thea told me 20 minutes. That's 19 minutes and 23 seconds of Girl Scout history. Pretty quick. I'd be happy to answer any questions I can to the best of my ability.
I have a Shark Tank kind of question. So you're selling these at $6 a box. What do you pay for them? How much profit do you make on each? By profit, I mean money to invest in your program on each box of cookies.
Yeah, great question. So it would vary by council. So I'll find that New York Times article and I'll share it in the comments or share it with Stacy and she can get it out to those of you who've attended today. So in our council, we sell cookies for about $5 a box. We know where the margin is and where that lands us. My understanding is that provides about $1 of funding to the girl and about $1 of funding to the council. And those margins are why you see councils vary a bit on pricing of their cookies. As you can imagine, things are different in different places in the country, and different councils have different needs to support. So we really appreciate the opportunity to be able to price our cookies in a way that's appropriate for our council, which is its own 501c3.
Well,
If
it sounds
anyone
like
else
it's
has-
investable. Maybe I can get a royalty of 10 cents per cookie. If I,
You know, I would have to
No,
let you
you're not
take it
doing
up with
that?
our
Okay.
CEO, Jim. I'm not sure. But it's the cookie side of the operation is something I found very interesting in working for the Girl Scout mission. Of course, this is like any business. There's quite a bit of information that my product program partners and colleagues know that I wouldn't know. It's also been fun to learn some things, as is appropriate by timing, from our council CEO. The Dakota Horizon CEO, Marla Meyer, is a member of the 10 CEO National Cookie Steering Committee. She has a background in packaged goods before coming to Dakota Horizon, so many years working for some beverage companies you might know, Coke and Pepsi. So she of course, there's items of business she's not able to share with us, but those that she is able to share about have been really kind of interesting to learn about how the National Council makes decisions, how cookies are developed. As you can imagine, people have a lot of ideas and feelings about cookies, so we sure hear a lot of feedback.
Now, where are the prime locations in Sioux Falls
Aha, great question.
for the kids?
So girls are doing a lot of business online. Girls also have opportunities to take booths and kind of do a pop-up shop. One that's very popular is inside the mall here, the Sioux Empire Mall. We have a kiosk that the council has a lottery system for troops who would like to sign up for a booth that the council has secured. We also have, many girls are able to call on businesses that they know, or maybe their mom or dad or other adult in their lives, head into a workplace and do a pop-up or do a little bit of door-to-door inside. And there are also national partnerships that are productive for Girl Scouts. So you almost always see Girl Scouts outside of Walmart stores in the cookie season. So those are good because of volume. Those can be volatile because of weather. So it's looking to be a pretty nice weekend here, and we have a feeling that bodes well for girls and their cookie sales this season.
Ann,
Yeah.
this is Hazel Oldham. I did start with brownies and then not the brownie that you eat, but as a Girl Scout. And I
Yeah.
really have fond memories. I did that in the Philippines.
Oh,
So-
cool.
So you talk about the global impact, but I think one of the impacts for me were the interpersonal relationships.
Oh, I love
that-
to hear you say it, Hazel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
You hear
so I think-
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just think that on a personal level, I was really interested in your slide about the impact of the being in the Girl Scout.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories to tell, I'm checking my watch because I know everybody's got important things to do this afternoon. We have a committee member and she's situated in the Fargo Moorhead area. So it's not a Sioux Falls story, but I think it's a great one to tell. She shared recently that she has a daughter who I would say is, I bet she's a third grader now if I were guessing. So this is a story is a few years old, but she described her child as almost paralyzingly shy. And during cookie season, Cindy is the committee member's name, got called into work, needed 45 minutes to sit at her desk and get something accomplished, or she expected it to take 45 minutes. And so she loaded up some Girl Scout cookies and had her daughter go across the hall to accounting where she knew another member of the staff and said, Mommy just needs 15 minutes going over there and visit. You know them, it'll be okay. Um, and Cindy was very nervous when she looked up from her computer to discover it had been 45 minutes and she hadn't seen Evie, her daughter. Well, it turned out Evie was down the way. Evie had sold something like 150 boxes of cookies in 45 minutes in the office.
Oh.
And here's what Cindy said that I think was really impactful. She says it this way. I learned in that moment that I had underestimated my daughter, but Girl Scouts had not. So some of those interpersonal things that you're mentioning, Hazel, were really important to this mom. And now the daughter is on our girl media team. She's more than willing to go and do a TV interview and be on camera and visit with strangers. But those were skills that she learned through Girl Scouts that she didn't possess before her Girl Scout time. So
Cool.
just another illustration of what you say. Stacy, I'm not monitoring the chat. I don't know if I should be.
No, let me see here. We've got, Linda Weber said she was a Girl Scout and our troop was the first one to attend National Girl Scout Camp near Washington, DC.
Oh, cool.
Super cool. Then Nicole said, she got 8 boxes from someone that was selling cookies and she freezes them. They are great frozen. Let me see if doesn't look like there's any questions on Facebook. So if anyone else here has a question, just unmute and ask away.
I'll ask another question. It's a little more general. I'm wondering what your sense is of how the Girl Scouts have been affected by the Boy Scout decision of, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago to admit girls into Boy Scout programs. There was quite a lot of concern at that time it would have a negative impact on the Girl Scout program. Do you have any perspective on that?
Sure. I can say I represent Girl Scouts, so I can't speak to the Boy Scouts or how things might be looking on their side. Here in Dakota Horizons, we continue to see growth. We're one of the councils that continues to see more girls enrolling in Girl Scouts, and our returning Girl Scout numbers, girls who return for more than 1 year, continue to be really strong. So I guess that for us, that means that girls are having experiences that they value in Girl Scouts and they want to come back. And we hope to continue to provide them with things that are valuable to them. One of the things that we're really proud of at Girl Scouts, we only have girls, and we are believe that girls have the opportunity to interact and work in a cooperative fashion in a way that's not at all competitive. We think that makes a really nice foundation for girls as they're moving into their later childhood years and into adulthood then too. So I can't speak to future plans for either organization, but my guess would be Girl Scouts is going to hold firm to serving girls exclusively.
Is there a test kitchen?
Is there a test kitchen? I don't know the answer to that question. There are 2 bakers. I can tell you a little bit about that. So I noticed Jim held up a box of peanut butter patties. So the baker that supplies our council is Little Brownie Baker, and they make a similar cookie, but it is called Tagalong. So that accounts for some of the differences that you see. So here in South Dakota, if you were to buy a box of the chocolate coconut cookie, we would call them Samoas. And in other parts of the country, you'd buy the same thing and it would be called Caramel Delight.
Mm.
So just
Favorite.
two bakers baking now.
Great.
Well, now I feel like I need to text this number to see if there's any Girl Scouts around here now because
There are, and we can always find a Girl Scout to send your way. But there's Like I mentioned, we started sales just a week ago on February 12th. This year we launched in-person and online sales the same day. Our members felt that might kind of simplify things for them. So that was a new thing for us this year, and seems to have been very effective. And as I mentioned, we were really lucky with good weather throughout most of the council footprint this past week. We're everywhere from here to Minot, from Grand Forks to Rapid City, even far, Fergus Falls, Minnesota, Lyon County, Iowa. So if you have good weather in the whole footprint, that's really saying something across 164,000 square miles on any given week.
Yeah, the last time I was a Girl Scout leader for my youngest, it wasn't so nice. Outside of Walmart and in a blizzard, not so fun.
Yeah, not so fun. Not so fun.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I think we'll just
Yes.
wrap it up here and definitely get your Girl Scout cookies, everybody. I know I'm gonna look for some and at least my kids can eat them, but. And here's Jennifer's info if anyone needs anything. Got that, and have a great day and enjoy the weather out there.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.